What's up, guys? Duster McDangles back here with another video, and welcome back to the NHL season preview series here today. And we are in the Central Division once again, and we will be covering and taking a look at the Winnipeg Jets from last season, 2021-2022. Take a look at their record, team stats, and then looking forward to this year, we're going to be taking a look at the players that have left the squad, players that they have brought in. We'll take a look at projected lines, salary cap implications, contracts, and more as we look ahead to the Winnipeg Jets upcoming season of 22-23. So without further ado, let's go ahead, hop into the video and take a look at the Winnipeg Jets. Taking a look at the Winnipeg Jets from last season, 21-22 season, the Winnipeg Jets record, they finished up with a 39-32-11 record. Not too bad considering the fact it was a down year compared to the year they had before that, making it pretty deep into the playoffs. Now, record-wise, they had a couple of months throughout the season where they were below 500. January was once, April was another time. March, they had a solid push to make playoff contention spot. They went 10-5-1 that month, but just April, they sort of fell apart a little bit. One thing to keep in mind, too, they got rid of some players last year, most notably Andrew Kopp, trading him to the New York Rangers. They were able to get a conditional second-round pick for 22, a conditional St. Louis second-round pick for 22. They also got Morgan Barron as well, but I would say that being their biggest piece that they lost. He was a pretty solid point getter when it comes to depth production for them. He had 56 games with them and only got 35 points. So for him, I think it was a little bit of a down year, which was one of the contributing reasons why he left the squad. Taking a look at their team stats right now, goals for, they finished up 17th in the league. Goals against, they were 20th. Their power play was 21.1% with a penalty kill of 75%. Again, those numbers, power play wise, not too terrible. I think anywhere from that 23 to 28 range, or even 25 is going to be a good range, but the PK, it's got to be up around the 80s to 85 range. Anywhere between there, you're doing a pretty solid job with that. But again, I think the depth was one of the big issues for the Winnipeg Jets last season, and it showed down the stretch. Month of April, they fell apart when it comes to trying to get key wins at the time of the season that you really need them, and they just weren't able to do it, unfortunately for them. And then backing up, looking at the season they had previously to them, I think it was a disappointing year. Kyle Connor having a massive year, 93 points. Mark Scheifele had 70. Pierre-Luc Dubois had 60. Blake Wheeler, I mean, he only played 65 games and did have 60 points. He was minus 15. But overall, I think their top point getters need to do a little bit better this upcoming season. They want a chance in the Central Division and to push for the playoffs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the moves out of the squad, the moves in, and then we'll take a look at the projected lines. When it comes to the players that have left the squad for the Winnipeg Jets, it was a short list, and it is actually only two players, one being Eric Comrie. Between the Pipes is no longer there with the Winnipeg Jets, and Paul Stastny has also left the Winnipeg Jets. And really at this point, they only have one new face in the squad, and that is goaltender David Rittich. Between the Pipes, they brought him in to back up Connor Hellebuck for the year. But let's go ahead and throw up the projected lines on the screen right now. And to be honest, they have a pretty solid top six when it comes to both forwards and, if you want to say top four for defense. Top line, Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Cole Perfetti. I mean, it'll be interesting to see Perfetti. This will be his first full year in the NHL, and who knows, with his size, I think it might be beneficial that he does play wing. I know he has played center in the past and wing throughout his junior career. But on that second line, you've got Ehlers, Scheifele, and Wheeler. That is a slower, I guess on the right-hand side of the line, slower. Ehlers, one of the fastest players in the NHL. But it'll be interesting to see if Blake Wheeler can have a more productive year and stay healthy as well. And then from the second line down to the third and fourth, it really does start to drop off. Harkins, Lowry, and Appleton. I'd say Lowry and Appleton a little bit more proven when it comes to full-time NHLers. Harkins, I'd say the word is still out on him. And then the fourth line, you've got Barron, Donato, and Vasilinen. Again, who knows with Vasilinen what he's going to do. I know if you play NHL, he is one of the best simmed players that you can get on your squad. But on the back end, you've got Brandon Dillon and Panik. You've got Morrissey and Schmidt. I mean, two solid pairs of defense right there. And then on the back end, you've got Stanley, the Tree himself, and DeMello. DeMello making $3 million a year. That's kind of a lot for him. Dillon at 3.9, Panik at 5.875. And then between the pipes, you've got Hellebuck and Riddick. So very solid goaltending. Hellebuck, he's had a couple down years when it comes to his standard and the Vezina winning standard. But let's go ahead and take a look at the salary cap and breakdown of their contracts, as there are a few players that are playing for contracts this year. When it comes to salary cap, they have around about $5.5 million to work with, so they could potentially bring in another big player or maybe wait for the trade deadline to make a move. But taking a look at their contracts, there isn't one glaring contract that I see here other than the Blake Wheeler, just considering the fact that he hasn't put up massive points the past couple of years being their captain. He is 36 years old at $8.2 million. If the Jets are not having a good year, and specifically Blake Wheeler not having a great year, I would expect Wheeler to be moved on and some cap retained by the Jets just to get him out the door if it ends up coming to that. Who knows with the Jets? With a solid top six, I think that they might have a decent year, could push for playoffs in that Central Division, as it is going to be a battle to do so with other teams in there, such as the Dallas Stars, Nashville Predators, and other teams around their stature. But looking as well, you've got Pierre-Luc Dubois on a restricted free agent contract year coming up. He's making $6 million at this point. Is he going to want to stay in Winnipeg? Are the fans going to want him in Winnipeg? Is he going to perform? Who knows? As of right now, Patrick Laine and the Columbus Blue Jackets have won that deal to this point. But Pierre-Luc Dubois, very solid first, second line centerman. I think if he has a pretty solid year, he could be upwards to around that 7x7 for his next contract, whether it's with the Jets or not. You've got Baron Morgan, who's on a restricted contract year, and then a few other players. Sam Gagner down there on the bottom will be interesting to have some more veteran presence around, and if he's able to stick around in the NHL at 33 years of age. On the back end, I'd say the most noteworthy defenseman on contract year, restricted year, is Logan Stanley, an absolute tree of a player, very solid defenseman. And then Dylan Sandberg, we'll see what he can bring to the squad this year. Between the pipes, again, Hellebuck, you've got him for 2 more years, and let's say he has a pretty solid year this year. You might want to restructure his deal before the start of the 23-24 season. David Riddick, who knows with him, depending on how much he plays at his age of 30, he's probably playing for another $900,000 one-year contract, whether it's with the Jets or not. And then Perfetti, he's got 2 more years left on his rookie deal. We'll have to wait and see how he performs this year. I think this being his first full-time year in the league will be a good year to set the bar if he's able to put up 45 to 55, even 60 points, especially playing top-line minutes, anywhere from 18 to 22 minutes a night. I think he could put up some solid points, considering he'd be playing with the likes of Scheifele, Connor, Wheeler, Ehlers, Dubois, and the rest of the top 6 guys out there, and even some power play minutes. But overall, when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets, I think they're going to have a pretty similar season to last year, even a little bit better. I think the 42 to 46 win range is what they're looking at, which again could be enough to get them in playoffs. Last year they just missed out. With 39 wins, they were below the Nashville Predators, who ended up making the playoffs. Nashville had 45 wins. Again, Winnipeg Jets could be looking around that 42 to 47 range for wins, as long as they stay healthy and can put it together under the new coaching staff. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but I think the biggest point is that top 6, will they be able to produce, put the puck in the back of the net, and get them up in maybe the top 10 when it comes to goals for, which I think if they could do that and stay at least within the top 15 of goals against, they have a very solid shot of making the playoffs, especially if Hellebuck and Riddick are able to play solid goaltending. I would say look out for the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs, as they'd be one of those wild card teams that a top team wouldn't really want to play in the first round. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I want to hear from the Winnipeg Jets fans out there. Who's going to have the biggest year for the Jets? Is it going to be Blake Wheeler, Kyle Connor, Scheifele? Is it going to be Perfetti with his first full season in the league? Who's going to step up on the back end? Is Morrissey, Schmidt, and Panik going to have a solid year? Will they be able to stay healthy is the real question. And finally, between the pipes, will Hellebuck be able to get back to that Vezina performing season that he had in years past? We will have to wait and see. But if you guys made it to this point in the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does mean the world. You guys have been awesome these past couple couple of days showing love and support to the channel and joining the squad. But that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.